I'm Josh Cooperman, and this is Convo by Design, with a look at the modern American kitchen and what the design community is doing in response to changing tastes and new opportunities to create unique functional spaces, transforming the heart of the home. This is the latest installment of the Wellness and Design Thought Leadership Series, on the road from Long Beach, California. In May 2023, a special gathering took place in Long Beach, California at the Friedman's Home Experience showroom. This gathering featured a diverse group of design talent and presented an opportunity to get some of Southern California's most dynamic and creative designers together for a conversation about kitchen design. Our group engages in an open forum about how the kitchen has changed in form and function since the pandemic began in 2020. This idea started as an exploratory look at what has changed, but developed into an overarching dialogue about what it means to be a designer today. Further, how the design community has learned to lean in on one another for support, direction, inspiration, and in the case of showrooms like Friedman's Home Experience, how to provide designers and architects with opportunities to discover new product and specify with confidence to best serve their clients. You're about to listen in on a real work group discussing the issues designers, architects, and builders face today. The following conversation is between 7 creatives, and at times it gets a little complicated, just like conversations in the real world. The conversation was not intended for you to blow through while multitasking. There's a lot of information and a lot of material that came out of this, and it is of interest and should be listened to over time and re-listened to as well, simply because when you have a conversation with 7 people, things can get a little frenetic, and this one certainly does. Like I said, it is worth saving and adding to your resource library. Before we listen in, I thought you would like to meet the participants, and we're going to get to that right after this. I am incredibly proud of Convo by Design in year 10, and I'm equally proud of my partnership with Thermosol. They've been presenting partners of Convo by Design for 3 years now, and there is a certain amount of pride that comes with saying that the show is presented by the company that is the best in the world at what they do. Thermosol engineers the most exceptional smart shower products and steam shower systems worldwide for a few reasons. They were the first company to design, patent the technology here in the U.S. dating back to 1958. Thermosol, a U.S. brand, a U.S. manufacturer in Round Rock, Texas, employs an engineering team that designs, tests, and continuously refines the product. Their quality control team tests every single steam generator before it departs the factory. Who else does that? Nobody. I have had the pleasure of working with some world-class designers and architects who tell me, and you probably know this, that the idea of luxury has changed and continues to change, especially when clients want a spa-like bathroom. Steam is mandatory, or it's just not considered a luxury space. And if you want to add steam, you have one true option. It's Thermosol. And now, Thermosol, the industry leader in steam, bath equipment, and technology since 1958, is enhancing their already stellar family of products with new indoor and outdoor luxury saunas. Available in 3 design configurations, each sauna is handcrafted from clear Western red cedar or Nordic spruce, inspired by the brilliance of Northern European sauna technology and design. A luxury bathroom isn't luxury without steam. If you want luxury, you have one option. It's Thermosol. Check them out at thermosol.com and at Thermosol on the socials.
Hi, my name is Leah Bierman. I'm with Leah Bierman Design, and I specialize in kitchen and bathroom design. Everybody wants a coffee bar if they can get it to fit. You have the privilege of getting that to fit. A coffee bar is like this little privilege, really. It's this little special point in your day, the highlight of your morning, if you will, and maybe in your evening, do decaf, but so we're always trying to get that coffee bar to fit in, and that means different things for different people. Sometimes, if you're high-end, it's a built-in coffee maker, and then other times, it's just a space for you to have your mugs and display those mugs, to have all of your coffee accessories, and to have that special place where you can just come and this is your routine and this is what you're going to be doing every day. One thing that we're doing with some of the coffee bars is that we're actually putting them behind closed doors so that it can be open and on display if you want it to be. But then when you don't want it to be, when that little morning ritual is over, then you have the luxury of closing it. That mess can kind of stay behind closed doors. And then you can look at your beautiful cabinetry the rest of the day. It's one of my favorite little spots to do in a kitchen or close to a kitchen because we can also make it a little bit fun. So we'll normally add in some fun backsplash tile or maybe add in some other like a secondary color. So we have a primary cabinet color and then we'll have backsplash tile as well. And because so many people focus on resale, with your coffee bar, we don't really have to. We want to make this about you, your kitchen, your coffee bar, your experience. I love coffee bars. They're a great way to spend your morning at the coffee bar. I have so much fun designing them. And I think the trend will continue on. I don't see coffee stopping anytime soon.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Kay, and I'm with Cheryl Kay Design Studio. We focus on residential, commercial, and hospitality projects. As a hospitality and commercial designer, I do primarily like the front house. So if I'm doing a restaurant, I focus more on the front house. I don't focus on the back kitchen. So that is a specific designer that does that. So if I were to do a kitchen or kitchenette of some sort, which I have for commercial projects, whether it's an office space or, right now I have a project and it's a tattoo spa, luxury tattoo spa. So we'll create like a bar. So it's kind of like a wet bar look. So that can kind of sort of translate into sort of kitchen design, if you will. But the big difference really designing for clients is, as designers, the visual art is already sort of a gift that designers have, right? That's sort of an innate, and that's one of our reasons for, being the professionals, right? But taking it a step further is just really, listening to the clients and really understanding their lifestyle. And, our lifestyle is constantly evolving and changing. Most people don't even sit in a dining room. Most families now sit and dine on a kitchen island, right? And with a lot of renovations happening, not everybody has, 3,000 plus square feet of space. They're working with anywhere from 1,200 to 1,800, right? So when they're tearing down walls and they're renovating, your kitchen is fully exposed. So I think that how it's evolved as a designer is how do we make your kitchen sort of not just functional, right? But also really be decorative and in a way where when you're done using the utility of your kitchen, how it kind of blends into the background in a beautiful artistic manner, and so I think has been the shift in the last decade for me as a designer designing kitchens. Wet bar isn't just about alcohol, it's actually about juicing. So I have a client right now where she again, it's one of those situations you walk in and all you see is a kitchen. So we really try to make it look very sexy with beautiful wood finishes, gorgeous countertops and backsplash and a beautiful hood. Great, decorative, pendants over, like hanging. So it feels like it's kind of like a hotel vibe. So I was under the assumption when they asked for a wet bar that they want it to be very sexy, right? So kind of like when they have because they have kids. So it's like the lifestyle is, they're entertaining kids and families, but they also have the life with their friends, right? So I designed it really sexy, but, they actually wanted to modify it a little bit to be more toned down because they wanted to use it not just for their alcohol or their wine, but also to juice, and so when they wake up in the morning, it's like, like a bar at a hotel, there's fruit on the counter and they have their juicer there. And we're creating a way where when they're done with the equipment, we have a little, shelf that goes down. So everything just looks
Hi
nice.
there. My name is Paul Fernandez. I'm the owner of Kitchen Concierge, a full-service kitchen design business. I don't know if the idea of the kitchen has changed so much as the idea that people need a new kitchen, that more than anything. And they're looking at, because of that, they're looking into appliances that they didn't know existed, like the speed oven, for example. It's a great oven. You know, it's a microwave and a convection oven all in one. The steam oven is another one. These are things that people simply don't know about, and I introduce it to them. You know, rather have a double oven, 2 giant ovens where you never use one of the ovens, put a microwave and or a steam oven in. So, you know, the obvious is steamed vegetables, okay, steamed fish, and it's not just a steam oven. It's a steam assist in a convection oven. So you have a standard convection oven with a steam element to it, and you can combine both of them together. So you have moist cooking. Okay, you're introducing moisture when you're baking bread. You can use it to proof bread because of the moisture. You can cook like chickens and turkeys in there, adding moisture. And now it's not going to dry out. You know, these are some of the fish. Steamed fish is by far the best, purest tasting, and the most healthy. You know, you've got refrigerators that you can tap into, and they have cameras in them. You can look and see what's in the fridge. You're at the store, for example, and you know you forgot something. You don't remember what you forgot. You pop open your fridge on your phone and say, oh, yeah, I'm out of orange juice or whatever, you know. And it's just that whole connectivity thing. To be honest with you, I haven't bought into it 100%. I think it's a little bit gimmicky more than anything. And some of the appliance sales reps say the same thing. I mean, it's not a 100% bad thing, but it still has some bugs to work out. Well, one of the biggest questions I get these days is regarding countertops. You know, granite has faded out in favor, and for quartzite is the stone replacement. And then you get into the manufactured finishes, the sintered stones, neolith and dectin and so on. And people are leaning more towards a durable surface. This is the question I get asked all the time. What's the most durable surface? Is it going to stain? Is it not going to stain? Is it going to chip? Is it going to crack? All these questions. Is it susceptible to heat? And so on and so on. And so, and I go through and ask and answer all these questions. And typically we ended up putting in a neolith or a dectin surface. And you can now put these surfaces on your cabinet fronts. So you can have a complete ceramic kitchen, essentially a bulletproof kitchen. Nothing to hurt it. You got dogs running around, kids running around with sharp objects or toys. Not going to hurt it. You know? So that's a new thing that's happened in the last, I don't know how many years, 5 years or so. And I think it's really, really cool. There's the manufactured wood products, CNC wood products, that are from a factory where you don't have to custom design it and then go find a shop to make it. You know, you buy a slab of it, 10 feet by 5 feet wide, and make doors out of it. You know, it's cool. If you want to do something custom, then you can design a pattern and take it to a shop and have it machined into your drawer front. So you could have an entire kitchen that looks like you're underwater, for example. You know, you're going to pay for it. But
Hi, I'm Donna Johnson with Lux Design. We're a full-service interior architectural firm. We have offices in Corona del Mar and Las Vegas. I always say I'd like to take an ordinary kitchen and take it to extraordinary. I want to see different things in the kitchens. People live in their kitchen. They entertain with family and friends, and that's really the jewel of the house. So I think that you have to take it the next step. And you don't want a kitchen that's just ordinary where people are not excited to be there, and including the owners. So I feel like it's taking it a next step up and really mixing materials. You can take a white kitchen and even make it, exciting with mixing in LED, metals, wood finishes on the island. So I think that's where it really has changed, because people really want to see a kitchen that's different. And it really is the hub of the home, especially since COVID. Everybody lives there, they cook together, they entertain together, and no matter what, if somebody wants them in there or not, everybody ends up in the kitchen. I think it's so important because it gives it's task lighting, it's also ambient. And so I like to use LED in glass cabinets. We even have a cabinet right now that we're doing in a dining room where they open their credenza, and they wanted lights in there so that it looks pretty when they're entertaining. So I think, and then, some of the lights that we have over the islands, they've really come out with some great lighting for there. We don't have to have the typical pendant. We can do one long light fixture. But then you've also got all the lighting under cabinets, and then, LEDs coming down the sides of the cabinets. Well, I think, first of all, you've got to have great appliances, and that varies according to the budget. So we go from one end to the other, depending on the budget. And then I think that plumbing is really important as well. And that also can be the jewelry. There's so many different things that have come out where if it's a small kitchen, it's like the galley or the Julian, where you can have multi-purpose sink, and you can do cutting boards and so forth. But the kitchen also needs a lot of accessories. I think whether it's a kosher kitchen or or just a normal kitchen, everybody wants it organized. So I think that they want silverware trays that are divided, plates and bowls and saucers divided, and then your pots and pans. And I also feel like a lot of people are doing their pantries more than just a pantry. If it's just a pantry size, we're still doing cabinets in there. If it's a chef's kitchen, we're putting all the same appliances in, and really the kitchen becomes the jewelry of the home, and the chef's kitchen becomes the cooking area. So, there's always a stretch to what we need to do for them. I always do inform them, because it's not going to be practical. They, for example, put a refrigerator in their chef's pantry kitchen instead of in the kitchen, because they're going to have to walk in there every time. So the triangle is very important to me anyway.
Design Hardware's newly remodeled showroom is where you will find a gallery-style space with a thoughtful display of products, purposefully positioned to allow unbridled exploration and discovery. High-end faucets, luxury tile, natural stone, wood floors, and bespoke hardware selections are presented in a holistic manner, strategically arranged to stimulate creativity and transition your vision from the conceptual stage to a fully realized space. Conveniently located, free parking available. Stop by to find your inspiration. Collect samples, get expert advice, and tackle everything on your shopping list all in one place. Visit them online at designhardware.com or in the real world, 6053 West 3rd Street in Los Angeles. The Institute of Classical Architecture and Art, Southern California chapter, is a forum for professionals in the industry and enthusiasts to come together, share their love, and show their commitment to the timeless principles of beauty, proportion, and observation that are embodied in classicism. Their members include renowned architects, designers, landscape architects, builders, students, artists, and creatives from every walk of life. It's a wonderful organization designed to celebrate the unique regional identity of Southern California and help develop the careers of the like-minded. If you're interested in joining or would like to learn more about sponsorship and support for the ICAA Southern California chapter, please email me, convobydesign@outlook.com.
My name is John Feldman, and I am the founder and owner of Ecocentrics Landscape Architecture. Just celebrated 17 years, and we're pretty excited about that. Our specialty is single-family residential estates and complex hillsides for our single-family residential homeowners. So something more of a residential resort type feel. It's pretty funny, actually. We have such range. It's culturally influenced. I will have Korean families that want to bring all of the amenities of that cuisine and all of the hot pot cooking and and those amenities to the outdoors, and we're asked for those things. We've had professional chefs and restaurateurs where we've done really restaurant-grade exterior kitchens and cabanas for them with fryers and all of that. So it can be that diverse to somebody says, you know what, we actually don't barbecue. But maybe an outdoor fridge, or we drink wine. So it's really, it runs the gamut. It could be a multi kind of counter setup where we have sinks and dishwashers and an adjacent bar for seating and conversation happening between chef and the party goers. But there's a lot of really sexy appliances and cabinetry, and I think that I know that our clients have become a lot more sophisticated as a result of their savviness around the interiors that are being that they're either reading about, seeing in magazines, or that they're having designed for them. Now, when we have participation on a project where there's an architect and or an interior designer, it makes perfect sense that we operate in unison. We're in lockstep. We're not an afterthought, and we want to engage and know what's happening on the interiors, what finishes, what textures, how do we make those transitions seamless. So really, we hand over a project to a client as a team that really feels as though it's been designed in one hand. Yeah, we don't have to change an entire floor plan to incorporate, or make a big open floor plan to incorporate a center island. We have that latitude to move things around. That's an interesting point too. There are people that can't imagine themselves taking more than 10 steps outside of the interior, adjacent to the interior kitchen, to their secondary kitchen, because they go, oh my God, I got to take a whole tray of food, another 20 steps across the yard. But there are opportunities to get out in garden space, to get another transition to deck down, to get a day away almost. We had one project, it's a hillside project, where we built all that amenity and even a restroom into the hillside as a bunker, so that this family can transition down 40 feet down to the bottom of the property, enjoy the property, not have to worry about are the kids going to make it back up to the interior space and drench the floors with their wet bathing suits, searching for a bathroom. But they get to enjoy that entirety of that experience way away from the house. It's really a totally separate. It's not disparate from the design of the house. It's just that far away from the house. So we have to, and we have the opportunity to build all of that in. Sometimes we are bound. Sometimes on a particular project like this, we do have our boundaries and codes come into in compliances shape the size of a space. So that might influence then how big, how small. Is this about an outdoor kitchen, or do you still want that swimming pool in this configuration as well? We want to bring those options to clients. And at the end of the day, we're turning over a project. I don't get to live there. I hope to be invited back, but this is their home, and we designed for them. I, as a landscape architect, have been fortunate to have worked in this sector of work in high-end residential for the entirety of my 30-year career. And there comes a time where some of us, as entrepreneurs, yearn for more. And this was one of those things in the last 5 years that I was really scratching my head. I said, okay, I've been a landscape architect for all this time. What do I do? How do I transition? Is it a close adjacency? I've been sketching in the background and have always wanted a line, to develop a line of products. And that wasn't necessarily related to home and or exteriors or outdoor living for that matter. But I did strike on an opportunity with a lot of research and a lot of love, and we have just launched Sturgiani, STURGIANNI.com, and we are repping 6 phenomenal Italian faucet companies. Again, all of these manufacturers are in Italy, have been manufacturing since the 40s and beyond. And there's some really interesting family stories there and generational stories. What's so key and important to me about that is that we're a multi-generational family here. I'm third generation Angelino, dating back to my great-grandfather who carved wood surfboards as a Russian immigrant, and then my grandfather and his brothers were all architects. My grandfather was also a builder in Los Angeles, and he also had some industrial designs going on at that time too. So it feeds the family legacy quite well. I'm not designing any of these lines at this time, but I'm really proud to carry the legacy of these families and their traditions for kitchen, bath, outdoor kitchens, and outdoor showers. So that's commercially and residential.
Hi, I'm Pam from Pazam Designs, and I'm a national designer, so I design all across the country. I'm mainly in Orange County and LA, and design residential and commercial. So materials is really I think we must say the transformational, like countertops. Everyone's trying to get to something where the material is not sustainable, it's not breakable, it's more durable, and they haven't come up with anything yet. Decton, came up with the surface that is heat resistant. It's resistant to stains and stuff. But now we're finding, because it hadn't been out for a while, that there's kind of cracks and stuff like that. Porcelain, same thing, right? So, it's only been out for so many years. So now if something cracks on it, we have to replace it. So there's not something that is a perfect product. But in regards to, what we're looking at in kitchens, so we're looking under a lot more acrylic cabinets, which are flat panels that are acrylics. And they used to be more modern, but now they've come more mainstream, but that's because of durability. Everyone is asking for more durability, more cleanability. They really, are going back into wood products, which is interesting because that's sort of like an oxymoron, right? So it's like, all right, they want durability, but then they want that warmth of wood. So we're combining both of that, so we warm up those flat panels in that acrylic. So, like in regards to appliances, they've gotten very smart. And every company across the board, low tier, mid tier, high tier. Obviously, the higher the tier, the more functionalities, the more things, bells and whistles, right? But even the lower tiers and mid tiers, they really have come in. Convection ovens are here to stay. But the consumers are more educated. And we really are going to go back into a situation where in 2045, it's going to be all electric. They're going to get rid of gas ranges, gas ovens. So consumers really need to get in the understanding that they're going to lose their gas appliances. And so now all the technologies are going towards that, where countertops, are going to become a flat countertop, and that will be your cooking top, your convection cooking top. And so you won't even see big burners. Because right now the trend is, that they're going to do these big burners and it's that restaurant look, and people are kind of tired of that right now. That's why you're starting to see color. That's why you're starting to see less stainless steel. You're starting to see, a different variation of all the stainless steel. And then now what they're trying to ask for is, everything is shaker cabinets. Now what they're saying is, okay, I've done that. Everyone's done that. I want my kitchen to be different than anyone else's. So before it was, I want what the Joneses have. Now I don't want what the Joneses have. So that's why you're seeing introductions of green and blue and yellow and red, and they're a little afraid. So they don't, because it's a big expense. So they'll put it in the island, right? And so they'll do the white shaker around the surround, and then they'll do that big red island, and they'll say, is it paintable? So that they can paint it later if they get tired of the color. That's what we all want, right, in life?
Hi, my name is Long Trin, and I'm the managing director of Friedman's Home Experience. Panel ready is still the hottest thing. I think it's the seamless design is what is really most popular right now. I think a lot of these neutral tones that they have, I see color starting to re-enter the market with just to have accent pieces. Coffee systems are still very popular, and under-counter wine units, wine columns are really resurfacing, and where people are getting more than one, 2 or 3 of them side by side. So yeah, those are what I would say is some of the most popular things right now. So what I've seen on a high level is that in some months, and I can't tell you if that's because of legislation and just code now on new construction, but we have seen electric induction outsell gas for the first time. And so getting prepared for that, we've started to bring in more induction cooktops, induction ranges, and we're starting to see them in multiple sizes now because people are looking for 36s, 48s, or ranges that have both gas and induction with them. I would say with refrigeration, almost every brand now is fully committed to the integrated look with flush designs. Some brands are just discontinuing that standard classic look with the grill on top. I think what people are trying to do, that whether it's going to pick up or not, is to just change your countertop into a cooking surface. So we've seen some really innovative ideas where your whole counter becomes a cooking surface, elements and tiles that build into the counters, and now I'm starting to see full counters that turn into like a cooking surface, and without anything there, so it really looks clean. But I think that's definitely something new that we haven't seen before.
We are living at a time of incredible growth, both technologically and creatively, with respect to interior design, exterior design, and architecture. There is no question. There are companies thinking differently about the business of design and how to make products super serve those for whom they're being made. One of those companies, and one of my favorites, is Moya Living. Designer and fabricators of some of the most stunningly beautiful, incredibly durable, and highly functional kitchen, bath, and outdoor kitchen cabinetry on the market today. Powder-coated steel with stunning lines, vibrant colors to fit any design style or aesthetic. A history of designing cabinetry for the scientific community, so you know it's been tested in some of the truly the most harsh conditions available. Moya O'Neill is the CEO and founder of Moya Living. She's the inspiration behind the design. Designers, their specification process is so simple. It will make your job so much easier. Check them out online through the socials at Moya Living, their website, moyaliving.com, and in the real world, their live kitchen showroom in Fountain Valley, California. You hear conversations about transformative design all the time on Convo by Design. We talk about it all the time. But what does that really mean? Design improves the lives of those who inhabit the space, but it also feeds the creativity and the soul of the creative. Are you looking for a way to give back? The Oasis Alliance is a 501c3 collective of creatives based in and around the Washington, D.C. area with a mission to provide healing spaces to those who are rebuilding, rehabilitating, and recovering. Have you wondered how to apply your design skills to uplift your community? It all starts with a desire and a willingness to share your gifts. Danielle Woodhouse-Johnson of the Oasis Alliance and her team are looking for guest designers, in-kind sponsors, and funding to make better the spaces and therefore the lives of everyday people who find themselves coming out of traumatic situations. Check out theoasisalliance.org for more information. Thanks for helping. So those are the participants. How is that for some incredible information? Now, this is the panel. And again, here's what's fun about this. You are listening in on 7 designers just having a conversation about what it means. I should say 7 designers and Long Trin, who's the managing director of Friedman Home Experience, about what's happening in the business right now, in real life, in real terms, and how we're dealing with that and what comes next. So now this is that conversation. So follow along, and it's some good stuff. I think you're going to like it.
Well, I find myself like gravitating towards more like copper these days. So remember, there's there's a like movement of like a lot of brass, antique brass. So with a lot of designs being so much more about being organic materials as opposed to like manufactured looking materials, I'm gravitating towards a lot more copper, and as sort of a substitute from brass. So it's still that warmth, but not black, not silver tones. But
Where are you using it?
where am I using it?
Yeah.
For like showers and like just like the faucets, like
Oh,
the
okay. Plumbing
fixtures.
fixtures.
Yeah, plumbing
Got it.
fixtures. Yeah, sorry.
Where's your market?
So
Where's your market?
Orange County.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah,
Orange County.
yeah, Orange County. And so, I think it's sort of different than the brass. So it's kind of giving that glamour, but not, it's a little understated, not so flashy, but, it has sort of that organic element to it as well. So that's what I'm finding.
It's interesting because I'm
Yeah.
doing the more brushed gold all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Rizzo's
Satin.
satin
Rizzo's,
gold,
uh-huh.
really big, really popular
Yes.
right now. So it's almost like the riches, like you were saying, are
Yeah.
coming in, and I think everyone's tired of the brushed nickel,
Yeah.
and and then all of a sudden on the flip side, chrome.
Yeah.
I just did a whole room in
Yeah.
chrome.
I've seen chrome
so
too.
they're really,
Yeah.
it's that Chanel, look that they do in all of
And plus,
their.
chrome is is the best finish, most
The
durable
most
finish.
durable, yes.
Most
Well,
durable, yes.
I actually
Yeah.
just put that in my own master bathroom. just
Yeah,
put
I
own
put it in my
master.
kitchen.
And I
Yeah.
did have some people question me, like, putting chrome in your bathroom? Like, no one does chrome anymore.
Yeah.
But in the right way, it can be done really well. And then you're mixing your metals too, so not everything's in chrome, but with a little bit of black, and
Yeah.
you have your soft finishes and your hard finishes, and so it works really nicely. And then long term, especially if you're thinking, oh, this
Yeah.
might be a rental property one day, or I might need to be concerned about wear and tear because I'm not going to just rip it out and start all over. That finish is great for that. So
It's true.
And even a matte chrome, it's still chrome. It's still the same
Yeah.
finish. It's just not polished. It has the same durability.
yeah.
If somebody pans the shiny chrome look, it's too cold or whatever their excuse is, do a matte chrome. It still holds up good.
But I have used a ton of the recycling. I think it's their champagne. I should know what it is by
perfect,
now. I've
yeah.
used it for so long,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful. It's still going strong,
Yeah.
I think.
It is.
Yeah.
I think for me, a lot of the mixing of materials is a big thing for me.
Same.
Taking it from like ordinary, and white kitchens are beautiful, but let's mix in some other materials. Not all shaker and white, but maybe bring in some metal, some LED, some warmer woods. We're actually doing a house with stamped wood that looks almost like it's textured.
Beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And it's just amazing
all
how.
wood?
Pardon?
It's all wood?
Yes.
It's custom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the mixture of
awesome.
materials, and I think you can take any budget and really make it beautiful.
Yeah.
You can take laminates and make that beautiful. Take a laminate and then do a metal and some glass and mixture. And I kind of went away from the shelves too because of the dust.
Yeah.
Everybody is bringing out dust.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You're talking about
it's
you're talking
funny.
about like the counter shelf, like the backsplash being a shelf as opposed to like an upper cabinet. Is that where you guys are talking?
Yes.
referring to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That or just the floating
Yeah.
shelves or open shelves.
Oh, the floating shelf, yeah.
You
Yes.
remove the wall cabinets and then you put in your floating shelf there.
Yeah.
Or
So
we
people are
reduced
hating
it
the
to where
dust, yeah.
it's all cabinets and maybe just a few, like 12 or 18-inch shelves,
Yeah.
just to
Right.
give it the kiss
Right.
of the wood to bring that warmth in.
Right.
And like
Yes.
what you were saying, what I've done in almost, I think, 5 of my last kitchens in the last month or so, wood islands. So mahogany wood
Yeah.
or a white oak to bring that wood back in. Because what you were saying
Oh,
is
interesting.
yeah,
As a
it's
countertop?
countertop.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I
you
love
just do
that.
a marine finish because everyone's
Uh-huh.
afraid of the water. As long as you're not putting the sink in the island,
Yeah.
and they also know that this is not a cutting board. This is, has, some problems if you use this. But longevity-wise, it's just like a boat, right? And if you treat it that way, then it's stunning. It really is. And
So
it
what
works.
species do you work with for that?
So I either use a maple. So I've
Okay.
used the maple. White oak is fabulous because it's hard. It's the hardest one, and that's the best one. So usually I take the white oak, like I just did one and it was all white shaker. And so, I'm tired of the white shaker, the white, countertops. And I'm like, can we just warm it up a little bit? And so they allowed me to do this wood countertop in the island. And it did, it warmed it. But so it was this white oak, and we stained it. So it was almost this mahogany color, right? And so it brought that nature and that warmth back in, and then just did a marine finish.
What thickness are you doing on the edge too?
So it's about 1.5 inches.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too thick. It's not past the normal cut, as they say.
And it's not just the edge; it's a solid 1.5 inches all the way through, right?
It's a solid piece, right? And then I mimic it over in, say, the fireplace, so that you bring that throughout the house. So then, for instance, I brought it in the stair rails, so it just floats throughout the house. That wood. Yeah.
And what sort of finish is on it to help it with its durability?
It's a marine finish.
Okay.
So
what kind of marine finish? Is it a marine varnish or a urethane? Or?
What is a marine finish?
So if you go to a boatyard,
okay,
and whatever they put,
it's waterproof.
Correct.
I see.
Perfect.
Okay, gotcha.
So when they,
it's very astringent. Is
perfect.
that very, very astringent with that finish?
Exactly.
Got it.
So you treat it as if you're on a boat, which is out in the water all the time, right? And so many, many years ago, I had done a deck on the top of a jacuzzi tub inside of a bathroom. And we're talking, 20 years ago. And a client had brought me back in to redo a kitchen. And that's where I got the premise to do this in the kitchen. And I thought, I saw it, and it's still the exact same.
Yeah.
It's not changed. And so I thought, longevity is really...
I put a marine and an aircraft finish on the floors of my house. It's a linear polyurethane. I did it in 2005, and they're still good.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost 20 years. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And it hasn't needed to be redone. It's the original
Yep.
finish.
There's one area that got beat up by the sun and water. It's by a door.
Okay.
But that's a 2 foot by 2 foot area in the whole house.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I knew when I used it that it would be that durable. That's why I did it. You can't even buy the material in California now. It's completely illegal. It was illegal to use in my use at the time. Couldn't even use it. It was a complete commercial application, but they sold it to me, so I used it.
It's done well for you, so.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really expensive too. I think it was $1,200 for 2 gallons.
Wow.
For a 2-gallon kit. Yeah, but it's worth it. The water-based material that was available at the time, the reps would tell you, "Oh, you got to redo this in 2 or 3 years, depending on the traffic." I'm like, "Forget that." And I'm like, "That's not going to happen."
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm curious with things like the faucets. There's some designs that are incorporating some more of the natural woods. There's a couple of designs out, and I think it's koa wood, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that has a marine adjacency, depending on where it's been harvested. But do you have experience with those? Because I wouldn't feel comfortable on the exterior in an outdoor kitchen as a landscape architect. But is it something that you're comfortable with? Or do you think it's time tested to be able to? I'm talking over myself. I guess I'm looking at the kind of
How porous it is, like if it's in
and just
outdoors. Well, there's teak.
Yeah, teak would be the only one I would use. Yeah.
You could
and
do
do they
teak.
know how to maintain 2 different surfaces on the same object at the same time?
Right.
Are you concerned for your clients?
So Brizo has a line called Frank Lloyd Wright's line.
Right.
Yes.
And so they understand, I've been out there to Carmel, Indiana.
Okay.
And so they've taken me through their process. And they design it, and they go through this tumultuous design process, right? It takes years to them develop it. And then it takes them years of testing, like sitting in water, right? And so it addresses that scenario. So, now obviously longevity of 20 years is kind of, but it did at least go through 3 years of, kind of harsh weather testing. And so they have, a rain shower head, if you want to call it that, because it's a big unit. Sure. And then it has things for the showers and things, faucets and things. It's stunning. It's the most unique one because it's asking the water. It's the first time it's asking the water to go straight out and then turn at a 90-degree outbound angle and then drop down. So I've seen them now mimicking it in other manufacturers, but it's the first, like it gave me chills when I saw it because it's a phenomenon.
Wow.
But it address the question that you're asking about.
They have it right. They're a competent manufacturer for sure.
Yeah, because they overtest.
That's
Not that you
so
should
great.
overtest, but I mean,
You're so educated, like going back to Lou,
Long.
what Long was saying is that like hoping that he could provide us with a service that, we're looking for. For me as a designer, aesthetically, that's easy, right? Mm-hmm. So we really rely on you and our reps and just, to educate us. So I'm loving this, but tell me about it. So what makes this better than the other, or sort of, is the components made from China, but this is made from America, the fittings, so that's a difference where it looks the same, but why is this less? So just educating, because then that can give you that value for that client and stuff.
Yeah.
And just even what you were saying, the astringent testing that they do, that's coming from Brizo, right? They took you into their manufacturing and just kind of give you a tour, but educate on it.
And they offer
really,
that to all designers.
Yeah, we should take
like
advantage of
MTI
that.
has this amazing one, and I mean,
I know. You get to, I've heard about it, and I'm going to go.
And
But,
they offer that
you
for
lay down
appliances
in the
too.
tub.
I mean, when
you
we
get
go
to
on
feel
these
it.
trips,
I haven't been on that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
I've heard that you go in the
there is a
hotel.
significant portion of the room that they're not just salespeople from dealerships. They're just designers there, and and I go, wow, they have a lot of work to memorize and learn too.
As designers?
Yeah, as designers,
God,
yeah.
Every single component
Yeah.
of just
Yes.
and this is why we rely on the people that we work with, our vendors and stuff.
What ultimately I think when you're working with a salesperson, for example, at a dealership, I think ultimately, I mean, sometimes there's this learning curve, but really if people just go, look, okay, tell me about your client before they get here. What do you, what kind of space? What do you think their budget is? What are you trying to accomplish here? So that, I mean, we're on the same page before they even get here. So I'm not wasting anyone's time or, I think this communication for me, I only have with a few different designers that I've been working with for a really long time. Like, okay, tell me about it. Like, what are we doing this time?
Yeah.
Okay. And the ones that you really work with a long time, they go, I need another Big Daddy range. That's a chateau, and I already know, what a designer that particular one will just wants Fisher Paykel dishwasher drawers because they disappear, multiple under counters on both islands, for example, and there's but really I think communication probably is what we're looking for because we can sell anything, it's just our client really is interested in dependability. Their last one, okay, we're going to talk about dependability story, you know what I mean? So
Well, I really appreciate it when salespeople tell you.
Yeah.
If you're looking at a product and they go, well, it's not tried and true yet.
Yeah.
Years ago with the front load washer and dryer, I remember taking a client in and she said, don't do it yet because there are a lot of problems with them. And we don't want to get the problem back, and neither do you with the frustration. So I think it's really important for the salespeople to really get, to say,
Educate
I don't think this is, really tried and true yet, and I don't think you should try it. Like even the wood, if you have a bad experience, people don't want to, you don't want to put it in someone's home because it's going to come back to you, and the contractor.
The hardest thing about being an interior designer, is that we have to know everything about everything. because we get grilled by our clients. Like, for instance, was in a kitchen today, designing a kitchen today, and they are grilling me about refrigeration, and they're asking me this because they are educated.
Yes.
They know, and they've read every manual on every brand of refrigerators. Now, me not knowing that, and so they're asking me, well, what about the vortex of this? And I'm like, I don't know a vortex of a refrigerator, and I'm honest with them because I've never heard of that term. And have you ever heard of that term in refrigeration?
No, and this is the crazy part is that the more savvy, the more they look, the more they read reviews.
How many Amazon 1-star reviews is what they're
I think a lot of salespeople will go with the path of least resistance.
I think every week we're going to come here and you're going to educate us on your product. When I just heard that, that's the stuff
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
What are you seeing insofar as turnover of products? There's a lot of stuff, I'm sure not represented here. What's your tact and take on that here in the store? And insofar as promoting longevity?
So that's a great question. So, what I found is that Amazon is training people so poor that just buy it, don't like it, return it. I mean, whatever it is, you just return everything. And if you would imagine a brand where, someone is having problems very early on and there's no way to deal with it. They're angry at you, they're angry at us, and instead of me looking bad for something that I can't do anything about it, I'd rather just not show them.
So our clients hold us to a certain standard. We hold you then to a certain standard.
Right.
What is it that you're looking for in the reps? I mean, other than what we've just talked about on honesty and longevity of product and so forth. If somebody comes to you with a new line and product, and then how do you promote that? I mean, like,
or what problem are we trying to solve? Really, most importantly, right? So, like, what are the latest common problems that we're trying to solve, and like what manufacturer is actually finding that
I'm very
solution?
leery with this. Okay, so it's just so you because I get people coming here all the time selling me everything under the sun, and that could be anything from SEO on my website to credit card machine, charges to all the way to
cable TV videos.
Marketing plus, but obviously when somebody comes in with a new product, I'm like, look, it's nice. This sector is incredibly competitive. I mean, you want to sell. You're bringing in a grill that costs, starts at $3,500 to $6,000. Nobody knows who you are. I said, and why would somebody? I mean, the salesperson would have to push a boulder uphill, try and sell you on this product that nobody's heard before, and then I've been around long enough to where I've seen so many companies come and go that if my salespeople or I sold it to you, and then you call back later because there's an issue, as they went out of business. Well, what do you guys think about this? This is what I was wondering. I mean, this thing is called a
I saw
the induction cooktop.
Yeah, it's invisible.
Invisible.
That's what I was trying to tell her.
I was just talking about that over there.
What do you think?
You need to get that on your showroom.
I was just telling him, and he goes, "What do you think is next?" And I said, "Well, flush cooktops to cooktops that are modular, where you kind of put it wherever you want to an invisible cooktop." I mean, I guess
That's pretty cool. I was at KBIS too and saw the cooking demonstration, and I think that was even porcelain.
It was.
On top. That was phenomenal.
So how do you know if it's hot? Because
the pan gets hot, the food gets hot.
The surface doesn't get hot.
Yeah,
so it's safe to the top.
It's an induction cooktop. You know how an induction cooktop
Yeah, but
works.
but even induction, the glass will get hot once the pan is sitting on it.
Yes.
Well, the countertop will get hot just like that too.
Yeah.
But it's not, hot like it's going to cause a problem.
So what they're trying to do is, we had a meeting with these, environmentalists, And so right now what they're doing in new homes is that they're going all electric.
Right.
And so in 2045, they're supposed to have getting rid of all gas, right? So now they're having to come up with all of these new things so that, we can not just have, the normal electric ranges and stoves and
So
stuff
we're
like
we're
that.
coming into, some pretty savvy induction customers now, where it's like, it's not. Let me tell you how induction works, and it's got the magnet has to stick to the pan. I mean, they're like, okay, I've had it before. Like, here's my question. Like, I mean, how many burners can boost? How many? And you're like, oh, and I want a 48-inch range, but it still has 5 elements. When are they going to change that to? What's the point of having a big, huge range and it's the same number of elements as the 36? And then you're like. And then he says, and then he goes, I suppose most people don't have 100 amps to put into a range, right? And then some of the, will the government allow that? Or, all of these things, and I'm going, okay, well.
That's the other question. If you have,
how do you
have an induction cooktop.
There's a lot of good questions that they have.
Every burner, let's say you have a 5-burner induction cooktop.
Right.
You're going to blow a circuit. It won't handle it.
That's what I'm saying. So you're running into a limitation that most people have. 40 amps, maybe 50 amps. Maybe they ran 60 amps because, but who's gonna? I mean, even if you have 100 amps to plug into something that has more elements that can do what you want it to do, you know what I mean?
That's about what you're going to have to do.
So
everybody's going to have to upgrade their panel.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Right. Model your kitchen and you upgrade your panel.
It's not just $5,000 for a cooktop. It's another $10,000 to upgrade your panel.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And then your monthly bill. As a landscape architect, we're talking about all these things for outdoor kitchens. I'm thinking, okay, what do you do about the pizza oven? If you want a big pizza oven, what do you do for a barbecue? What do I do for a fire pit? How do I heat a swimming pool? If we can still have water to be able to fill the swimming pool.
Exactly.
I'm sorry,
There's plenty
not
now.
a profession anymore. What amenities are we providing ultimately if we just see this?
The politicians don't get it. They're politicians. They're dense.
But this meeting that I was in, which was the environmentalists, and then it was also the electric company from LA and Orange County, Irvine area, right? So what the conversation is that, right now when you talk about like in the summer, right, when everyone's running their air conditioning and stuff, right, we all have to conserve.
Yeah.
So now if you're asking people to have electric cars and electric appliances and things outside and inside and stuff, like, what are you going to say? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You can only run your range. On street A and B can run it on Mondays and 6, if
and charge your car only on this. Hope you don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Not cooking on Tuesday.
Eat on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So I don't think someone is, like, when, we ask these questions to them, they're like,
Yeah, they don't have any.
we'll fix that.
No, they
It's gonna
don't.
be really interesting
They don't
to
have a
see
plan
how
to
this plays out.
increase the energy that's going to take to run all this electricity. They think they're going to do the green thing, and it won't be. It's simply not enough, and it's not reliable enough. They need power plants.
Yeah.
They need some sort of power-generated power plants to make the electricity, whether it's gas, coal-fired diesel, or nuclear. They have to have it. It's the bottom line.
And they're not even talking about these transformers that blow, right? So what if you're in your house and a transformer blows? Now you can't cook. Now you can't start your car. Now you can't,
And then even with solar power won't only work as long as the grid is up. You can't use that solar power if the grid's down.
Right.
You have the way that they're installed now. You can install it to do that, but you have to tell your installer what you want. It's kind of bootlegging it.
Right.
It's not really illegal, but it's not the norm either. So.
But you know what? Some of these newer electric appliances are really cool. Like that pizza oven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's electric.
I saw that
Yeah,
demo
and you
last
don't have
week.
to vent it or anything. I just saw that.
I mean,
thought that was
and
really
the price is
Yeah.
going down on it, but
Who makes that one?
but imagine that thing can hit 1,000 degrees in
That monogram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
They had
20
that
minutes.
last week at
You can't do
Reese.
that on gas, you know? I mean,
I've
you have
never
to,
seen
you
that,
know,
so
like
that's
this is,
good.
and you don't have to clean it up like gas, you know?
Inside only or inside outside?
It's inside only, yeah.
Okay.
Inside only. But I mean, it's made those, that big earthstone oven or something, you know, you spend $100,000 on, and you know, and now, I mean, you just there it is. I mean, it's a fraction of the cost.
And are
Does
they good
everything,
pizza?
huh?
Is it good pizza?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You turn a pizza in,
Okay.
90 seconds or whatever it
1,000
is. You know,
degrees,
like
man.
What is the
yeah.
price?
And the cool thing about those, you can cook on more
10,000?
things than just pizza.
That one?
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of
that's
stuff.
easy.
I do exterior like cabinets. So what are the cabinets outside? Because there's not a lot of choices,
Yeah.
you know, for cabinetry exterior.
You know, that's the thing. I think some of the brands that I rather like would be like I love Moy Living.
Oh.
Me too.
Hands down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it's a price fit for our every client. Now, granted, we are trying to make sure that our every client is a fit for, budget-wise for products like that. So cabinetry, I mean, has traditionally been wood or even steel framing or block with cut-ins and doing our best, and then maybe a good stainless finisher to be able to do that work with filler pieces in that, or the complete sets that some are available. Wolf had and I mean they've gotten more expansive with the modular pieces. We try to maintain continuity with door drawer pulls and all of that too. So in the mixing and matching of appliances, it gets a little tricky too. So we try to be purists about whoever we're specing on a particular project for the sake of that. But we still have clients where we are building out a masonry or specing masonry and stucco finishes and things like that too. And inserting pieces, just trying to make good design sense of those inserted pieces.
So you have a stainless steel fabricator you use?
We have, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Where are they located? What city?
They were very good. I think they were out of Burbank.
Okay.
But it's been a while. But they were the first ones that turned me on to, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn here, but that told me that some of the major manufacturers weren't exactly entirely square. When you try to butt everything up, that you're, where these modules are butting and striking, say, a wall, if they're not free floating in an island and meant to stay stable. That not everything kind of queued up square.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
no, that's not good.
Production was a little too fast, and things didn't come together, or seams were almost triangulated and not clean.
That's not good.
So that's where they were able to sell their services, without too much problem to somebody like us. As we're looking at the cleanness of all those filler pieces and things that may not have it. I mean, this is say 10 years ago, may not have been as available as some of the lines are availing today.
Yeah. I think the beauty of the metal outdoor cabinets, like Moya or Urban, is the colors. I mean, we can really have some fun with exterior, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And I
rather
think
than
that
just stone.
yes, and I think they last better as well because they're powder coated. Instead of the stainless steel, because after a certain time, you start seeing rust spots. Of course, you have to take care of the metal as well.
Sure.
But the powder coat is made to last.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too. Is as a landscape architect for high-end residential, we don't always have a project that's under a house or interiors that are under construction. But if it has been well curated, we want to borrow from that. Like we've got a project in Encino right now. With a colleague, she did the interiors 10 years ago, but brought us to the project, and I want to emulate or mirror or borrow from that white kitchen palette. It's a kind of a tricky prospect. It's west facing, but we have some pretty deep eaves. It's a little, it's low slung. It's mid-century, so we're going to have enough protection where I'm not worried about being blinded by reflected light off of white surfaces.
Right.
But Dawn and I had an experience. We were on a project in the desert, this wasn't Donna's piece, but what got spec'd was a beautiful dark stone finish to a Moya living top. And it was gorgeous. It was, and I think it worked well with the interiors as well. And Donna was on the kitchen design on that part, the interior kitchen design. But out in Indian Wells, a dark color, you could fry an egg on that. And so, but it was somewhat, it was client driven too. We had options of whiter and brighter, or something that toned down for the eyes, but you couldn't touch it midday and not scald yourself. So buyer beware, consumer beware.
Have you guys been affected by time lead times?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now it's getting much better.
Yeah,
Sure.
it is.
But I mean, certainly during COVID, I had whole kitchens done where we're sitting empty where the range should be for another 6 months. Everything else is done, but then and then when it comes in, you put it in, it's fine. But they had to wait for a range.
So you're waiting for appliances, but what about like cabinets or flooring or were those affected too?
Absolutely.
So
our entire profession was affected by it. The lumber, metal shortage.
Sure.
Everything was
in heightened demands.
Right.
Thankfully, things are returning back to normal
Yeah.
times, and and it's good because I remember the time that I would be designing a job to where it was actually going in. It was so long.
Yeah.
I'd start to forget some of the details of that was 6 months ago. What did we spec out then? What was the decision or that conversation that we had then? So I like that things are shortening up and we're able to actually be doing our projects sooner to when we're designing them.
Obviously we're talking about appliances, but in furniture, they're still doing I ordered furniture last year in May, and I'm still waiting for it because they're waiting for the pearl front on one of the drawers, and so I love to hear, because I said to them, ship it without the pearl fronts and I'll have someone glue it on. Right? That's not really that earth-shattering. So I certainly would love to hear you say that. I think my clients would love to have their refrigerator in place versus a hole when they're done the remodel and no butter
or a little rental fridge.
The old fridge. in the new kitchen.
but as the inventory is in some brands, because the interest rates have slowed down the process. You know what I mean? When if people aren't buying and selling homes, then as much. It slows down the whole industry, So
I haven't seen it. I have to say,
no,
not in this area.
Yeah.
But
maybe the Midwest.
Yeah. But as that is
Isn't that crazy?
Occurring, what ends up happening is that the manufacturers start catching up with it, and then the products start ending up with less lead time. So they are starting to catch up and slowly but they do see that it will take probably till, in some brands, to the end of 2024 before they're fully back the way they are.
So it's interesting that you say that. So I do homes across the country, and so I'm doing several in Indiana right now. And there's a town that I'm doing, a very small town. And when I first got there, the cars were very, let's just say, homespun American cars, right? And now, and the homes were like 50,000, right? And so, and it's kind of outside of Indianapolis, like about 2 hours away. So it kind of gives you this thought process. So now what's happened all of a sudden, now it's been a year later, right? And we're, not tearing down, we're remodeling, right? All of a sudden I'm seeing Mercedes and I'm seeing Teslas and I'm seeing, and I'm seeing the purchase prices of the homes going up, right? Doubling.
So people are moving to states that don't have taxes, what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what's happening, right?
And it's just like, where else can we start to tear up these, beautiful Americana, right? Yeah. Where, it was a pure little area, and now we've integrated migrated into this area with all the money that should, like we did in California, where you can't afford to live anymore, right?
I know.
Well, Las Vegas is still really popping because of that, and large homes, they're selling.
Yeah.
Everything is selling there. It's actually the lower end homes that are not selling. It's all the high end.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
In
In
Nevada?
Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Henderson.
Because I'm about to close on another property in Huntington, and because I buy and do things with them, and they're bidding wars now,
Yeah.
Really?
and it's cash purchase.
Really? Yeah.
Because it's
again,
low
right.
inventory right now,
It's
right?
low
Like,
inventory,
Very low
Yeah, very low.
and it's
inventory.
literally cash purchase.
but I feel like the homes above 3 million are sitting longer, don't you think so? That then
Yeah, these are like $1.3 million.
Yeah.
Right. That's
I
about the
think they
$1.6
said the
million.
difference is that they had multiple offers,
Yes.
and now they're going way over asking price, but now they're selling at asking price, which is still not bad.
No, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a good market.
I went to a home, Cypress, open house at 11 o'clock, and by the time it was 2, he said over 100 couples have already been through there. He's like, I'm so glad I printed 150 of these. I've given over 100 of them out. He's like, so put in your strongest bid because there's going to be a lot. I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, because there's no inventory, even with the interest rates. I mean, I can't. It's pretty.
And when people are
right
starting
now.
to realize about interest rates, it's not really that bad. We had such low interest rates for so long, it became normal when it wasn't. I remember when I bought my house, I think I was paying 15% interest when I bought my house.
yeah, I was just
You know,
going to say
and
the
that
same.
was-
Yes.
In the 80s.
That's the way it was.
14%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was no big
Yeah.
deal.
Right.
And, you hoped it came down so you can refinance.
What I love about these conversations, and that I hope you do as well, are the real world data points that emerge. These are not pre-prepared glossy ideas about how wonderfully great design is. While that's important, I find it even more important to get past the hurdles that impede the design process. If you are a working designer today, at any level, you're encountering some of the many or all of these issues in your own work. And I hope hearing that others deal with the same issues and how many are approaching the work helps you in yours. Thank you, Leah, Pam, Donna, Paul, Cheryl, Long, and John for your input and for participating in this event. Thank you, Friedman's Home Experience, for hosting, and thank you for listening, downloading, and subscribing to the show. If you're not already doing so, please make sure you are subscribing to the show so you receive Convo by Designs immediately as they're published and you don't miss a single episode. You can find the show everywhere you find your favorite podcasts. Thank you to my incredible partners and sponsors, Thermosol, Moya Living, and Design Hardware. Without you, I would not be able to do this, and for that, I thank you. Thanks again for listening. Be well, and until next week, take today first.